guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another Turbo Tyler video. Today we're doing something well overdue to the focus. So if you guys haven't already seen my track day video, make sure you go check that out. But that was about a month and a half ago now, and I cooked my rotors on track. I stayed out for way too long, they got way too hot, and now they're warped. So I needed to upgrade them. I'm going to do more track use. So I decided to go all out. What I've gone for is this. So this is a DBA, Disc Brakes Australia, T2 slotted rotors. So the idea is that the slots allow for more surface area, which aids in cooling. And also what these do is they kind of keep cutting the pad up, the brake pad, which keeps cleaning off the surface. So this is part one of upgrading my brakes. I also have braided brake lines to go on with fluid. And disc pads, which I haven't got the money for, but will be coming soon. But the lines are here, they're ready to go on. But I'm going to be doing that in a separate video. Today we're just going to be focused on the rotors. We're doing front and rear. For the rear I've just gone for solid because the price was like $100 more and I don't really need slotted in the rear. So first things first, the reason we've got the bonnet open even though we're doing brakes is I'm just going to remove this wiper cowl real quick so I can access the brake reservoir. All you need to do really is just to take this cap off so that you can allow the calipers to be pushed back in. But this is so quick to remove, I'm just going to quickly take that off. Alright guys, like I said, that wasn't really a necessary step, but it only takes 5 minutes and makes life easier. So what we were trying to access is this right here, this cap. So this is your brake fluid reservoir, and what we need to do is just to take the cap off there like that, just to allow the fluid to move up and down. And if your level is relatively high, like my one is as well, I like to get some paper towels and kind of just make a little like enclosure for it around it like this and shove a few more rags, because if that spills down and makes a mess, brake fluid is pretty corrosive and you definitely don't want that going everywhere. So I kind of just make a little thing like this so that if it does overflow, and obviously as you're pushing your piston back in, kind of just keep an eye on it. So we'll just kind of make a little enclosure like this for it right there. Cool. So now that we've done that, we can jack the car up and take the wheels off. I'll just show you on this side, we'll do one front one and then one rear, but it's pretty simple. So next step, let's get the wheels off. So now that the wheel's off, the first challenge that you're going to be met with, and what most people are probably going to struggle with, is this clip. So these clips are a little bit of a pain to get off, but it's similar to Audi S3, which I do a lot of at work. And if you put your screwdriver, your flat blade just between there, and put your hand over here to stop it from flying off, and you kind of just pry it, it'll come out eventually like that. So that's how you get them out. I'll show you later on when it comes to putting them back, how you get them back in. But yeah, people kind of struggle with that and do all sorts of funny things, but that's the main way to get them off. So the next thing we've got to do is there's 2 bolts behind here, which I'll show you in a minute, 7mm Allen key, and that is to get the actual caliper off the carrier. So this is round the back of the brake caliper now. So under these 2 little dust covers, just like that, you can pull those off with your finger. And then in here are going to be, you can use a 7mm Allen, do a test fit in case your car's got anything different. And we'll just go ahead and break those loose. Just like that. They're normally one of those ones where they're tight, and as soon as you get the first crack on them, then you can get them loose. Just give it a bit of force, there we go. Just like that. And then once we back these all the way out, we can move take the caliper off. So because I'm only going to be doing my my disc and not my pads, what I'm going to do is, instead of rewinding the caliper the whole way, I'm just going to stick my screwdriver in here, just between there, and it will force that caliper back just ever so slightly. As you can hear there, that's that. And now the disc is kind of a lot more free. And that'll give me just enough room, and that's why we took off that cap off the reservoir, so it allows the fluid, so it's not a fully closed system, it can push the fluid back. So now, like I said, we can get this. And then we can just kind of pry the caliper off the carrier. So there we go, with a little bit of help, I just zip tied mine to the coil spring there. So now that we've done that, the only thing left holding this disc on here is this caliper carrier. So the way to remove that is just those 15mm bolts just there. And once you've pulled that off, your disc is off. So now that we've got that carrier off, you can just place that to one side. Some cars have a brake disc retaining screw in here, but this one doesn't. So now all you got to do is try get this thing free. And normally they're pretty stuck on. So what we might need is just a bit of a hammer. You can hit it from the back. And you see it's slowly working its way off. It's almost free there. There we go. And you just work your way off the stud like that, and that's your brake disc off. So what we need to do now before we put the new ones on is, because ours is slotted, we need to make sure you've got the right one, because there's a left and a right when they're slotted. And we also need to clean this surface up right here so that the disc doesn't get stuck on again, because they just seem to rust themselves on, especially with your overseas wire brush. Make sure we got the right side one, and we'll go ahead and put them back on. So putting the caliper carrier on now, those 15mm need to be torqued up to 120 Newton meters. So we'll go ahead. That one's torqued up, this one I already did. Cool. And once you torque them, you want to go ahead and get your paint pen and just put a nice little torque stripe on. Just like that, so you can see if they come loose, which they shouldn't because you torque them. So just putting a little bit of copper slip on these bits where the calipers go. Not too much, nothing crazy, but this just stops squeaking and allows them to slide nice and easily. So the last thing now is putting that retaining clip back on, and even I struggle with this part, so I'm gonna get a screwdriver and a hammer here real quick. Then I kind of just get lucky with it sometimes. I kind of put it there on that ridge and hook it in there, and then try to push that back down just like that, and then I tap that in there, tap that in there, and then hope that it doesn't fly back out into my face when I hit it here. There we go. And there we go. Now we're back in. So that is this side done. I'm going to do the other side, but I won't film that because you've already seen it. So I'll catch back in with you when we do the rear. But real quick actually before, go and get some brake cleaner if you can, and clean this up to make it look real nice. Because these rotors look sick. It looks like a race car now, so super excited. Yeah, catch you on the rear. So the rears are pretty similar to the fronts, and on the Focus what you'll find is a retaining pin, similar to the front, but this one's a lot easier. What I normally like to do, some needle nose, and I get in there, pull it away from the caliper a bit, and then I can pull the top piece out normally, like that, and then kind of just come off. And then same thing at the back here, we've got the two little dust covers, which you can get off with a fingernail. Just like that, and then your 7mm, you want to go ahead and stick straight in there, and we'll start breaking stuff loose. But make sure it's actually set to undo. Oh, Jesus. And I'm just going to work it back a little, and she'll come free. There we go. So unlike the fronts, the pads won't stay retained in the caliper. So you can just take that out. Remember the back one has got the pin, and the front one, which fell out, doesn't have a pin, so that's how you know which way they'll go back in. Now, similar to the front, we've just got to remove the caliper bolts, and I believe these ones are going to be a 13mm, which they are. So now the carrier's off, and we can just pull this off just like that. Just drop that down. So just put a bit of copper slip on the pad, chuck that back one in there. I'll put some on this one. So those bolts for the carriers, the 13mm ones, I torqued those up to the factory torque spec, which is 30 Nm plus 90. And now we're just putting these in. I've cleaned this carrier as well, as you guys can see. So stick that pad in and then hold those in place as we get our caliper back round. Might be a bit of a squeeze because we haven't re-round it. There we go, but we're in. And then we'll just put these bolts. There we go. There we go, line that up, line that up. Grab our tool. Just run them in by hand first. And then tighten these up to 27 Nm. And that is the rear one done. Alright guys, so there we have it. That's the new brakes installed. I am going to take it for a test drive now just to make sure everything's okay. But I won't really get the true effect of how much better they are than the standard ones until we do our next track day. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to the video if you haven't done so already, and stay tuned for the next one. I'll see you guys later.